You've just stepped into the undercurrent, where silence speaks, and the dead have stories, where trials twist, lies tangle, and justice waits in the dark. This is 12 Gauge, and not just reporting relentless pursuit.
All right, all right, all right. How's everybody doing on this Thursday night? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm not muted. I hope you guys are doing awesome on this Thursday night. My name is 12 Gauge, and this is my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. How's the world treating you guys? Can everybody hear me, right? Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Can you hear me loud and clear? I'm not muted. Um, so tonight I decided to do some of the stuff that I wanted to do the other night. Um, but I just I didn't have my laptop with me. I finally made it home. I finally made it home. Um, and I came home with a piece of paper that, allows me to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, almost 2 years. So I'm excited about the new transition, about the new um, direction that I'm heading, and I will let you guys know as the process goes. But tonight I wanted to talk about something that really that shook me up a little bit because I haven't seen anything like this since early on in historical times, and this has to do with a Mississippi police. They found a student hanging in a tree. So let's go ahead and listen to the broadcast and we'll talk about it. Sometimes You have your sound down, and maybe you can't hear, so maybe you could turn your sound up. Who? So here we go. Let's listen to what this what happened in Mississippi.
Mississippi are investigating the death of Trey Reed, a black college student who was found hanging from a tree on the campus of Delta State University. His death has sparked concern and unease within the local community as officials work to figure out the circumstances surrounding the young man's death.
We do want to warn you, the information in this report may be disturbing to some of our viewers. As ABC's Melissa Adon reports, Reed's family says they just want some clear answers.
An investigation is underway into what led up to the death of 21-year-old Demetravian Trey Reed. Police saying a school staff member found the Delta State University student hanging from a tree on Monday. Concern spreading through the campus.
Hearing that happened to another black student, it really made me feel it's make me feel unsafe.
The school's public safety chief updating the investigation today, saying the coroner's office preliminary report indicates no evidence of foul play or that he was physically attacked before his death.
That is just, I mean, if you remember the times when that actually happened in the Deep South, then you know that that would be concerning. To think that that's coming back as a fashion of justice, because there's a lot of stuff going on right now, especially with the Charlie Kirk stuff, and people are having a lot of things happening to their employment, having a lot of different variations of life events due to that assassination. And when I first heard this, I thought, oh, dear God, here we go.
Medical examiner began conducting a full autopsy this morning. Preliminary results are expected to be available within the next 24 to 48 hours.
Officials say they are viewing videos as part of the investigation. The president of Delta State University expressing how emotional this has been for the campus.
My heartbreak is comprehensive, not just for Trey, although it is primarily for Trey, but for the fact that the rest of the world has an impression of Delta State that is so at odds with what I know to be this institution. This institution should not be associated with hate or hate crimes.
Reed's family describing him as a joyful young man. They and their attorneys are pressing authorities and asking for an independent autopsy and more transparency. His grandfather saying he initially was told Reed was found in his room and died by suicide.
Something just not right. It's just not right. We're not right. And I don't believe Cray will do this to his family.
The university says they are in regular contact with Reed's next of kin and that there are no active threats to the campus and it remains a safe environment for students and faculty. Officials at the Warren County, Mississippi coroner's office say a 35-year-old white man was also found hanging from a tree in Vicksburg the same day Reed was discovered. Authorities telling ABC News there are no known connections between the two deaths. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Okay, and let's listen to that situation because that just I've been to Vicksburg. I've never even heard of Delta University. So let's hear what this one had to say. Let's see. We'll go back to this one right here. So tell me what y'all think about the situation. I mean, there's not a lot of news on this. Let's see what this
On the air with
this one is. The individual by Vicksburg. Have y'all heard of this? Have y'all heard of this?
Breaking news out of Vicksburg tonight, where a man was found hanged. According to the Warren County coroner, 36-year-old Corey Zukaitis was found in a wooded area near a casino. The coroner said he was found at 10:30 this morning. The circumstances of his death have not yet been released.
That's terrible. I've been to that casino in Vicksburg. I actually stayed there. But the fact that there's not more transparency and people are automatically talking about foul play. They're making it into a hate crime already. And they're focusing on one rather than the other.
Amidst this tragedy, a life was lost due to another hanging incident not too far from Cleveland. 12 News' Delisha Banks joins us with that story. Delisha?
Jalen, 108 miles south of Cleveland, Mississippi, leads you to the city of Vicksburg, where a second person was found hanging from a tree on Monday. The Vicksburg Police Department responded to a wooded area near Ameristar Casino in the 4100 block of Washington Street a little after 1 p.m. Officials say they discovered a white male who was later identified as 35-year-old Corey Zukaitis from Brandon. He was believed to be homeless, and one of his peers found him hanging from a tree.
He was homeless.
I mean, how much of this do you think is coincidence? Do you really believe that one could have been a hate crime and the other one wasn't? I mean, he was homeless. Would that have led to him wanting to end his life? Most possibly. Here's a feature that I wanna try out. Let me see. Let me see. You have a question. This is how it's a new feature. Check it out. Let's see if I can do it correctly. I see it. Wasn't there two guys, white and black? Yeah, there are two. There's one that's white, one that's black. No, one of them was from a college area, and the other one was located near a casino in Vicksburg. And what's interesting about that casino, I've been to that casino. I actually stayed there as I was going through Mississippi.
That particular area over there has become somewhat of a haven for homeless people. We also understand that the reason he was in Vicksburg, he's actually from Brandon, but the reason he was in Vicksburg is because he had recently participated in the River Rescue Mission, a part of their dependency program. Now, other than that, that's all we know. Again, our hearts and sympathy go out to the family. But we did make that death notification, and they are aware of it. They were aware that he was homeless. And it's just something that, another one of those things that we have to deal with, not only in the city.
I mean, if he was homeless, you have to ask yourself, well, did that, add to his situation? Was there a lot of disparity? Was there a lot of situational event that led to him actually, choosing that way? You just never know. I mean, it's just interesting that we haven't heard of this type of crime, I guess, in a long time. So for it to be two people in the same state on the same day, it's just concerning.
Vicksburg in the state of Mississippi.
Investigators detect no foul play with the death of Zukaitis. His body was sent to the state crime lab for further examination. First District Illinois Congressman Jonathan L. Jackson, son of civil rights activist Jesse Jackson, spoke out Tuesday on behalf of what he calls lynching incidents in Mississippi. During his speech at the House of Representatives, he demanded a federal investigation be conducted by the DOJ to ensure justice and transparency. Congressman Jackson says, quote,
So why would people automatically call it lynching? If there was no foul play ruled by the police, it's it's interesting to believe that these individuals are going to pick up and make it a racial thing. That they're automatically calling it a lynching. That they're using issues from the past as something that is a present day situation, especially when the police says that there's no foul play. The echoes of these losses reach deep into our nation's history, a painful reminder that the shadows of racial violence and exclusion have not yet left us. Well, I mean, there's two different individuals, two different races. So it's not necessarily a hate crime, I would believe. What do you think, chat? Do you believe that we have a hate crime on our hand? Do you believe that the echoes of the past are finally catching up with us in 2025 once again? Um, but to think automatically that it's lynching, that's a little premature, wouldn't you think? Wouldn't you believe that if the police is telling you there's no foul play on either one, they said there's no foul play. So how could you possibly jump to that conclusion if the police is telling you there's no foul play, but yeah, you're jumping to the conclusion that it was a lynching? Or was it just a lynching for the black guy and not the white guy because he was homeless and a transient? So that couldn't have been a lynching. That would have been a suicide. But since the guy was African American and it echoes something that you've seen in the past, automatically you're going to make it a racial hate crime. How fair is that to anybody in 2025? I ask you in the chat, I ask you on replay, if you're watching this in the future, I'm asking those questions because do you see how easily people are misled by statements and they run with the narrative? They run with the narrative. The coincidence is pretty wild. I don't think lynching should be used. I don't believe so either. That's disrespectful to all the people that were actually lynched in the past. I mean, this brings to mind the Jasper case in Jasper, Texas. Um, there was an individual that was drugged to death by being chained to the back of a pickup and dragged down a dirt road and then discarded at the end of the road like a piece of trash. The individual was an African American male. He was merely just walking home one night, and there were two individuals that picked him up with the promise of a ride. He was sitting in a truck bed, and next thing you know, they stop, pull over, start beating him, chain him to the bumper. They had a chain. They chained his legs together, and they just took off and started dragging him down the dirt road. And that was a hate crime. That was a hate crime. Are these hate crimes? It's hard to believe, but anything's possible in 2025. I do believe that. I'm sure we will find out later on. But the fact that the police have stated in both cases that there's no foul play, how could it be that community activists are already comparing it to lynching? I just don't get that. I don't get why you would push that narrative out into society if you've been told otherwise.
The echoes of these losses reach deep into our nation's history, a painful reminder that the shadows of racial violence and exclusion have not yet left us. End quote. This matter is still under investigation. Be sure to stay with 12 News as more details become available.
And let's go back a little bit into that Jasper case because That was very horrendous, and a lot of people have never even heard of that case. His name is James Byrd Jr., and this happened in 1998, June 1998. So let's here's one of the people that orchestrated it. So
The Texas man who
I'll let you guys get a little bit of history here.
orchestrated a gruesome hate crime was executed in Huntsville tonight. John William King was one of 3 men convicted in the 1998 dragging death of James Byrd Jr. Levi Ismail in Huntsville tonight, hearing from Byrd's sister who witnessed the execution. Levi?
Well, Clara Byrd Taylor of the Byrd family says she felt nothing when King was executed. She says that there was no sense of relief. All she knew is this had to be done.
In his final moments, John William King avoided all eye contact with the family of James Byrd Jr.
It's indicative of how embedded his faith was and how proud he was of what he had done.
Clara Byrd Taylor is James's oldest sister. It's been 21 years since her brother was brutally killed, but Wednesday evening, she saw the last of the 3 men responsible put to death.
King showed no remorse then and showed no remorse tonight.
And you know, that is hatred. That is evil in every sense of the word. You know, to not have any remorse for killing somebody just because you believe that you're superior based on your skin tone. That's bullshit in so many regards. It really is. You know, it doesn't matter. It has no bearing on humanity, the color of a skin. Because I know a lot of different races. I know a lot of different people from nationalities that are wonderful individuals. And I'm not turning this into a race thing because I don't believe in the race card. You know, people are human beings after the fact. Do people do bad things? Of course they do. But bad things are done by multitudes of different generational people and multitudes of races of people, subcultures. You can't just jumble everybody up into one little ball and say, well, everybody in this culture or this subculture is exactly the same, because they're not. I mean, if you view life like that, I'm not going to debate you. I'm not going to dispel your thoughts or anything, but you have to ask yourself, what makes me so biased toward this? Where did my bias come from? How did I become this type of individual where I believe that all people are exactly the same? You know what I mean? It's just strange to me. But this crime was so traumatic. None of them had any kind of remorse. And this is the sister of the individual who was killed.
His execution tonight was just punishment for his actions.
When King was asked if he had anything to say,
he responded simply with the words no, did not open his eyes at any point during the process, took one deep breath, one exhale, and that was the extent.
At 7:08 p.m., King was pronounced dead. His request for a last-minute stay was denied, putting an end to years of legal battles, which kept him on death row for 2 decades.
I'm against capital punishment, but what he did is way over the top. It was a modern-day lynching. James Byrd was lynched. So I don't want the world to forget this, and so that's why I'm here.
For Clara Byrd Taylor, closure means helping others understand hatred will never prevail.
I think if you continue to embrace diversity, no matter where you are, it's going to help solve the problem.
Now, the Byrd family says that while they have forgiven all 3 men for their actions, they will not forget. They describe it almost as a wound that's healed, although the scar will always be with them. Guys, back to you.
All right. So hard all those years, and now this.
That is true. That is true. That, you know, a lot of times you just don't really understand what makes people react the way they do. You know, it's hard to understand it. I mean, it's hard to really, because we're all different. So that's, to say everybody's the same who wears cowboy hats. Well, not true, because I know a lot of people that that wear cowboy hats that are not the same as everybody else who wears the cowboy hat. I think I was playing this one and I got copyrighted. I'm going to try it again because I'm not monetized. So I'm going to see exactly what the sheriff has to say. Hopefully, he'll direct us in the right direction.
So, of course, John William King, his execution's coming up. Can you kind of backtrack just a little bit and walk me through that day?
Oh, I don't think we have enough time to go through the whole day. I know that was one of the longest days of my life. We had just solved a whodunit murder, Jerry McQueen. We had just solved that a couple of days ago. And now we've got a body laying in the middle of the road that's dismembered, and it's pretty obvious that it's going to be another homicide. And Jasper Police Department and us put all of our resources together for the murder a week before. And of course, I called Harlan Alexander, the chief, and said, "Hey, I need the same resources. We got another murder." And called all my guys out. And we hit the woods, got to talking to people, wound up with a young man that said he saw James Byrd in the back of a truck, a dark colored truck, black, dark, very loud, with 3 people in it, possibly 2 males and a female or a long-haired guy. And we found some evidence at the scene with some tools that had the name Barry engraved in it.
One of those guys that was executed for this murder, he didn't even really participate in the murder. It was the driver and the passenger. He was in the middle, and he was just merely just going along for a ride, just hanging out with his buddies. And he got caught up in this situation and ended up losing his life as well, by being executed by the state of Texas. And if you had any inkling of the death penalty or the executions in Texas at that time in the 90s, it was an express lane. Texas was cleaning house. It really was. It was executing people almost monthly. And yeah, I have heard of that small town. That's a sundown town, just as well as Jasper. Supposedly they still have a sign out that says, if you don't know what a sundown town is, it's like those kind of towns from the past where racism still does run deep. It's a deep core within the community. And they had a sign out that said, if your skin is dark, don't let your ass be out after sundown or something like that. So, this was in the almost 2000. So, 25 years is 25 years, but think about the 60s was when a lot of this stuff was going on. And, all these times that we've heard of the disparity of different races being treated so poorly. And let's not get it twisted. I'm not being a bleeding heart here. I'm just saying that, you call it what it is. And this is racial profiling, not racial profiling. This is racial prejudice at its worst. This case right here.
Another, and one of the guys said, "Hey, Sean Allen Barry's got a truck that fits that description, and his Barry is on the tools." So somebody said, you know what, he's living, a couple of guys they're living together that just got out of prison, Bill King and somebody else, this long-haired guy.
Yeah.
And we just fortunate and got them all in. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, Barry confessed to Guy James and I that they were involved in it.
For when y'all.
I mean, let me paint the picture for you. You're just out walking. I think he was walking to his mother's house, maybe, possibly, or a friend's house, or he had just left a friend's house, had been drinking beer, smoking weed or whatever, and I think he was walking home. My bad. I got all these cases jumbled up in my head, but I believe that he was walking home. And these individuals offered him a ride home and they gave him some beer. And he thought it was just going to be a friendly trip home. He was in the back of the truck and then things went south really quick. I've been in Vider before and we stopped at a store, never again. Yeah, Vider has a very bad history.
Spoke with King. Did he ever have any remorse?
None whatsoever. He told our chief deputy, Paul Brister, that if we convicted Brewer, that he would talk to us. And he was on death row already. And Paul and I went all the way to Huntsville to meet with him. And said, well, you told us you'd meet with us and you'd tell us what happened if we convicted Brewer. And we're here. We convicted him. He said, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. You need to talk to somebody that was there. So, and it's still the same way. He's still denying it. I called the warden over there yesterday, where he's at the Polanski unit. Told him I wanted to ask Barry King a couple questions and say a prayer with him and see if it would be all right. And they called back and he said, yeah, you can come on over, but we're not going to talk to you till my lawyer's present with me. So it's obvious he's fighting it all the way to the very last. And he's the one he was.
I mean, and that's what's detrimental about society is that people are raised with so many preconceived biases of their family dynamics. They're raised in generational situations where they believe that there's the deciding wording, everyone, all. Those kind of words that lead to nothing more than just being very descriptive that everyone in that race is a bad person, or all people who have ever, been born under this situation, they view it as an affliction. And it's terrible. It is just terrible to believe that in 1998 that we were still in that type of era where racism was alive and well and they were still killing people like they did in the 50s and 60s. You remember the whites only signs, the African Americans had to eat in the back, ride in the back of the bus. I mean, it's just terrible. Just terrible. But to be fair, I want to say something that's not very popular, but this is true to an extent as well. Two wrongs don't make a right. For every person that is a Caucasian, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, who is a racist, there in turn is a racist in that other nationality towards those type of people as well. So if you're black and you're screaming racism, but yet you're racist against Asians or Hispanics, two wrongs don't make a right. So there has to be a way eventually in time where we all understand that, are you really having a misunderstanding of skin color, or are you having a misunderstanding of the person committing these actual events? To think of this, okay? In the prison system, the majority of individuals that make up the prison system are either Hispanic or African American. Two of the smaller minorities. So how is it that most of the individuals that are locked up are African American or Hispanic? If they are the minorities when it comes to race, and the race is catching up, but until it does, they are the minorities, but there are more of those cases locked up. Have you ever asked yourself that? What is the pull about being locked up? Is it almost a systemic variation of, well, this is a rite of passage for some people, like their grandfathers were locked up, their fathers were locked up, their uncles, their cousins, whoever. So this is just the path I was given. I'm poor, I'm raised in poverty, blah, blah, blah. So this is the only way out. And it's really not. It's really not. But it's sad that so many people have a belief that if they're raised in this culture, they have no other avenues or means to get out of that than to commit crime or to extort others or to prey on other people. And that's around, that's universal. And it's sad. It's sad to say the least. What do y'all think, Chad? Do you believe what I'm saying, or do you think that I'm being biased in one regard or the other? Yeah, they don't like each other most of the time. I mean, to be fair, they're all nationalities, color that kill people. There really are. Most of the serial killers that we identify in this channel have been Caucasian. Has there been African American or Asian serial killers? Of course. Has there been women? Yes. But most of the time, these individuals are Caucasian. So to say that individuals that are prevalent to violence are only one race, that's really shallow minded, I believe. I mean, think about Chicago. Think about how violent that city is. Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., where people are killing each other every night. I just got back from Lubbock, Texas. Lubbock, Texas is quickly becoming one of the deadliest places to live in Texas. There are blocks of poverty. There are blocks of the mentality that there's no other way to make it other than to rob from other people, to kill somebody that you view as an enemy. And it just, the proverbial wheel continues to turn in this insanity instead of trying to advocate for change. But once again, you can't change somebody who is not willing to change themselves. And that's the biggest thing. You can't force change. You can lock them up, you can counsel them, but at the end of everything, somebody has to be able to want to change. And if they don't want to change, it's not going to change for the better. But do you just give up and throw in the towel and say, well, they're not worth saving? we're going to throw everybody in prison, going to throw everybody behind bars. No. I believe that there are people that do change, but it takes time, it takes energy. I learned a very interesting fact that I'm going to share with you, then I'm going to get back to the video. Do you understand that it takes somebody, a, a child that's been raised in a traumatic event in their lives, it takes them over, what was the number? You have to show them on average, I believe the instructor said 10,000 times before somebody changes something. Like, if you're born in trauma, your brain is not developed like everybody else's. It's slower to respond. So, therefore, if you want somebody to change or somebody to stop doing something, you have to show them over 10,000 times. You have to say that over 10,000 times before they get that. Do y'all agree with that or do you not agree with that? Let me know what you think in the chat. I know that there is a lag in StreamYard, but let me know what you think about what I just said. And let's get back to the Jasper case.
Kind of the leader, you thought he would parade himself out as being look what I did, I'm dying for what I believe, and yet he's fighting it to the very last day. So shows just
no doubt in your mind whatsoever.
oh no, Guy James and I went over and talked to Brewer a couple of days before they executed him. And he told me that Guy James is a Catholic and doesn't believe in the death penalty. And Guy James really wanted to make sure we got it right. And Brewer said, yes, you got it right. Brewer named King as being there. Sean Allen named King as being there. We found out DNA evidence at the crime scene with King's DNA on it. So there's no doubt he was there.
So that day that y'all had to go, when y'all finally identified James Byrd and y'all had to go tell his family, is that probably one of the hardest cases?
I've had to notify the family of this for years and years and years. But that was one that was tough. Family was all.
Yeah, I have heard that. I mean, I've said that with adults. You're right on point with that 21 days. It's actually 14 to break the habit, 21 days to create a new habit. But 10,000 seems excessive. I agree with that. But I could be misquoting. I believe that's what he said, but I could be misquoting. It was a lot. It was a huge number. And I thought to myself, man, that's a lot of reprogramming right there. Because the traumatic brain doesn't have the capacity to be firing like everybody else's brain. So, to have to reaffirm something that you want to be changed, you must be consistent. I guess that's the point that I want to bring out. Let me go back with what this case is about, because it's interesting to hear that aspect, but I want to know more about the crime. I know that let's see if they do it on this one.
James Byrd Jr. was an American man who was born on May 2, 1949, in Jasper County, Texas, the third of 9 children to James Byrd Sr. and Stella May Sharp. His mother was a Sunday school teacher, and his father was a deacon at the Greater New Bethel Church. James graduated from Jasper High School in 1967, the last segregated class. After graduating from high school, he married and had 3 children, Renee, Ross, and Jamie. He worked as a vacuum salesman. On June 7, 1998, in Jasper, Texas, James Byrd Jr. accepted a ride from Sean Berry, Lawrence Brewer, and John King. Berry, who was driving, was acquainted with Byrd from around, and John King. Berry.
See, let me back this up. I hate that. And those people, see those tats right here? You see the lightning bolts? Those are specific tats. And if you don't know what those lightning bolts mean, do a little research and you will find out exactly what they mean. And it kind of correlates with what happened with this crime.
Brewer, and John King. Berry, who was driving, was acquainted with Byrd from around town. Instead of taking James home, the 3 men took him to a remote county road, out of town, beat him severely, spray painted his face, urinated and defecated on him, and then chained him by his ankles to their pickup truck, before dragging him for about 3 miles.
3 miles. And they defecated and urinated on him. You can't tell me that that is just some kind of random act. These individuals were intent to do this.
Were later claimed that Byrd's throat had been slashed by Berry before he was dragged. However, forensic evidence suggests that Byrd had been attempting to keep his head up while being dragged, and an autopsy suggested that he was alive during much of the dragging. Byrd died about halfway along the route of his dragging, when his right arm and head were severed as his body hit a culvert. While almost all of Byrd's ribs were fractured, his brain and skull were found intact, further suggesting that he maintained consciousness while he was being dragged. Berry, Brewer, and King dumped the mutilated remains of Byrd's body in front of an African-American cemetery on Huff Creek Road, then drove off to a barbecue. A motorist found Byrd's decapitated remains the following morning.
We drove up on a body that had the left shoulder and the head missing. You could see where there was a trail in this road, and the trail went from one side of the road to the other side of the road. Thought maybe it was a tire that was canted a little bit and was leaving rubber in the road. But once we got to looking, you realize that it wasn't rubber that was in the road. It was meat and flesh and blood. And this long trail that we followed for a couple of miles was actually.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Can you put yourself in that kind of perspective where you actually see a trail for 3 miles in the road and it looks like rubber had been drugged down that road, and it's actually flesh, blood, remains. Wow.
Part of a human being. You could see around the man's ankles that you could tell he had been tied around the ankles. And we just started putting things together.
They made an announcement in church that told all the members to stay in your home, stay locked up, because there was an unknown body found in the road. We don't know what's going on in Jasper. And so it was a scary moment, but then at the same time, we realized, what happened. Then you can't come to a reconciliation in your mind to hear how he died, and the change came loose. They had opportunity to do the right thing. But instead, they had a mission. They tied him right back up to the truck and continued to drag him and left his body in front of Black Cemetery. And never in my wildest dream, I thought that she was killed in that way.
I had never been a part of anything to where you saw the results of pure hate. I didn't know people thought the way some people think. To kill somebody, to tie them to a truck and drag them for 3 miles with a chain. It's so far over my head. There's so much hate that's involved in that.
Do y'all believe that it has gotten worse regarding hatred of other people, or do you believe that it's gradually stayed the same? Because I'm not a statistic guy, so I'm not going to blurt out statistics. Um, I'm asking the chat, do y'all believe that in time, this was 1998, based on what we've seen and heard since 1998, do you believe that it's gotten worse regarding people and evil? Do you believe that it's gotten worse, or do you believe that it's gotten better? Tell me what y'all think. Because I want to remind you that I did a short the other day on something that I reported on earlier in the week prior about a man that decapitated another man in Dallas over an argument with a washing machine. So tell me what you think as far as the evil in this world. Do you believe that it's gotten worse, or do you believe that it's pretty consistent? Do you believe that it stayed the same? We're just hearing about it um, more often, quicker.
That it's just kind of incomprehensible to me. And when I walked in to tell the family, Papa Bird, Mama Bird, they already knew. But we all cried together. We all prayed together. And I made Mr. Bird a promise that we wasn't going to quit till we got the people in jail.
When this case came up, the chief of police back in that day said, you're going to ruin your career. You need to plea bargain this case. So you're talking about a country sheriff and a country DA going against all tradition.
We were doing what we were doing because it was the right thing to do, not because it was politically right to do it. It was pretty obvious the guy was being drugged behind this truck. We started finding pieces of evidence, started finding all kinds of cigarette lighter. And on this cigarette lighter, there was an inverted sign that we didn't know what it meant. It turned out to be an inverted Ku Klux Klan emblem.
They were in a Klan group called Confederate Knights of America, and it's primarily a prison Klan group.
Sean Allen Berry confessed to the district attorney and I at about 3 o'clock in the morning. He said that they went to F with an N and it got out of control.
East Texas is very much the South. It's very much like Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama. The old racial history was full of lynchings and killings. When I grew up, the community was very much segregated. They had white bathrooms and colored drinking fountains.
And you think those things don't exist? Try coming to East Texas. You'll see some of the remnants of the past. Some of these areas haven't really changed that much. I mean, there's some businesses where you can still walk in and you can still see where the sign used to read whites only. You could see, how they were set up where the blacks ate in the back. And no matter what your race beliefs are, this is not about race. This case is, but I'm not trying to make it about race, about one being better than the other, or these people being more evil than another race. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to bring light to the disparity of our thinking patterns that lead to such violence, because it is evil. It is evil in so many regards. It's almost like we have no kind of bearing on human life anymore. We have no kind of understanding that there's better ways to handle conflict. Or as they said, they were just going to mess with somebody. And James Byrd Jr. happened to be that individual that they chose. And that is tragic.
And it was very much segregated.
We didn't have hate crimes then. That was not the word terminology, hate crime. But I knew that there was a civil rights violation because they deprived him of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness because of his color. That's a federal crime. So I go to the FBI because I needed help. This country sheriff was in a bind, but it turned out that it was not a federal offense. And we prosecuted them in state court along with the U.S. Attorney's Assistant. We did what we had to do to solve a murder case. It just happened that it was a black guy that was murdered and 3 idiot white people that murdered him.
Wow.
In 2001, James Byrd Jr.'s lynching by dragging led the state of Texas to pass a hate crimes law, which later led the United States Congress to pass the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act in 2009. James Byrd's grave has been desecrated on 2 separate occasions, forcing his family to have a gated, iron railing enclosure placed around it.
And you don't think that, that simple act of his grave being messed with like that, you don't think that there's still people in that town that believe that that this is something that he deserved? I'm about to show you another video. Let me know if you're enjoying this. If you're enjoying this, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. I apologize for the dog barking in the background. Can't really do much about it. Here's another video. 25-year-old hate crime still affects Jasper, Texas.
He's like the protective brother. We had a very close relationship because he was the first boy and I'm the last of the youngest. He wasn't a perfect person, but he struggled to do better. I looked up to him and I knew if he was around that nothing would happen.
He was a son, he was a brother, he was a father and a friend. And I don't think that comes out too much in anybody's conversation as to who he really was. I met James in the 9th grade when I went to high school. He loved playing in the band. He loved being friendly, meeting friends. He didn't do any harm to anybody. The harm that he did, I guess, drinking, he did it to himself.
A 49-year-old father is murdered in a shocking crime. Police say he was tied to a truck and dragged until he died in a hate crime killing.
And I just imagine that night, James probably just couldn't believe this actually finna happen to him. He can talk about anything, but at one point he had to realize that it's not gonna happen this time. That someone took matters in their own hand and said, oh, your loved one is not important enough to live. So we're gonna take him away because he was born black. And if he was a white man that day, he'd be still alive. He'd be 70-something years old by now. When you go to the cemetery, you still feel like he's not free because he is in a cage because of hate. Hate killed him, and hate is still causing him not to be free as he lay in peace. He's great. He's been desecrated twice. Maybe one day we'll feel safe to take the fence down.
It's a difficult subject, but I think it's one we need to come to terms with.
One of the main arguments we try to make in this field of study is that lynching was not an aberration in the South, that it was seeded into the society and that it was common. Between 1882 and 1901, there were at least 100 people lynched every year, which means it was in the paper constantly as a reminder, white, Black, Hispanic, and other people what could happen. With James Byrd, it's a little bit different. By the 1980s, lynching had largely ended. It harkened back to an earlier era in American history. But East Texas was the most violent place in Texas, largely because it was a historical recreation of the South. So the deep-seated racism from the earlier era of Texas history has continued into modern Texas. Systemic racism. The legacies are many.
I was a radio personality on KJAS radio station in Jasper, Texas.
For KJAS Radio News.
A listener of mine called and told myself they had found a part of a human body.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, I know a lot of times people don't like to discuss this topic because they're topics that are deep rooted with whatever a family believes. You get what I'm saying? It's like whatever you grew up believing, it's hard to go against what your family, their ancestors, and their ancestors, and their ancestors believed. But do many people ever try? Do they ever try to challenge their belief system? Or are they just saying, well, I'm destined to be this person because my daddy did it, his daddy did it, his daddy did it, his daddy did it? Systemic racism is an awful thing.
Approached our home and knocked on the door. And usually when a police officer you've never seen before come to your door on your side of town, it's not good. And we can see it in his face. He said, we found out that the body was your son, James Byrd Jr.
When I heard on the radio about finding a body on the Huff Creek Road, there was something about it that just didn't sound right. As I was going in, I could see these marks in the road. If you can picture somebody behind the boat skiing and the boat turns left and then the skier will go right, as the curve went to the left, the body came around to the right, went off the road, hit in a culvert, and the body was the left shoulder and the head came off there. And they continued dragging the body. It was well over 2 miles that we walked following this thing.
What really keys in is how long that was, how long that trail was. Sheriff Rolls, and he's one of the best bosses I've ever had. Just general public, you saw him on the news, say that's Billy Rose, he's got his Tabasco tie, his cowboy hat, but he brought in the federal intervention, state intervention, said, hey, we need some help.
That's when Chief Bill Rose came in and he told us the details. The chain came off and they had opportunity to say, you know what, enough is enough. He's still alive, let just go. But they were so determined that they rechained him up and elbows was all the way to the bone, trying to protect his arm. I mean, he was still fighting. And only way they recognized him was James because his dentures.
You know, I don't care really what your beliefs are, really, honestly. If you have any compassion towards human nature or human beings at all, you understand what it would be like to have one of your loved ones chained to the back of a truck. Random people, random races in the front of that truck, dragging your loved one by a chain in the road like an animal. laughing, joking, having a good time, urinating on them, defecating on them, all this stuff. How could you ever condone something like that? How could you? And like I said, many people have different beliefs. That's what makes our country great. But it also what makes our country divided most of the time. Is people's beliefs when they start to interject their beliefs on other people without the care of harming, hurting, or even possibly killing. That's what makes it very volatile, very violent.
I guess when the camera was there, I was proud of Jasper to come together. People from white communities to bring us food, but when the cameras left, they all went back to their corner like it was before.
And a lot of people were afraid because in Jasper, we don't have, or we didn't have transportation like we do in the city. A lot of the people there had to walk. And so if I get caught out there by myself, what's going to happen? Am I going to be another statistic as James Byrd was?
They wanted justice. They wanted James Byrd to have justice for what was done to him.
We got justice. Black people don't get justice, and even justice don't heal. So just to put things in perspective, it's not only Jasper, it's everywhere. People say if you don't talk about it, it didn't happen. And so now we've got a new generation in Jasper. They probably never heard the word James Byrd. I understand people have their own lives and things like that. I don't expect them to change dramatically. But like the town step back and let people find their own way. And I didn't see any participants for us trying to keep this town together like it was that day. Because at first I didn't talk at all. My sisters was talking because I didn't know how to process it. Sometimes you don't have the words to say to anybody because it hurt so deeply. And then one person asked me the question. She said, "You don't want to talk? You don't want to talk for James because his voice is silent now. You're the only voice he had." And that rang the bell that James can't talk. I know he could. He would talk for me.
So tell me what you're thinking. I mean, you guys that are in the chat. Here is the town that Texas was talking about. Vidor, Texas is a sundown town.
What up, y'all?
Hold on a second. As you can tell, I've watched some of these, so they have some of the things already gone through. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Vidor, Texas.
Right. Katie's been wanting to check out this little town here. It's just a nice little town here in the outskirts of Beaumont, Texas. Now, let's read up a little bit about this town. Katie, want to get something to eat here or
Head
what?
north on Evangeline Drive, Ridgewood Street. Turn right toward Evangeline Drive.
You're good. Let's see this little town here. Right outside of Beaumont. Horrible place.
Yeah.
Let's see here. It looks like Alabama. Okay, let's read up on this little town. Is it with a V or a B?
V.
Vidor, Texas. It says here it's in West.
If you've never been to East Texas, this is what it looks like. All over the eastern part of the state, from Houston all the way up to Texarkana. There's nothing but trees and road to cut between the trees. And it's very isolated, most of the area. There's a lot of swamps, there's a lot of different small towns, but they all, as that woman stated, Some of them do adhere to the traditions of the past.
In Orange County, let's see, history. Vidor has a reputation of being a sundown town in 2018.
Yeah, there was a reason.
In 2018, they're a sundown town?
Mm-hmm.
Why the crap would you bring me here?
Because, we have to cover.
Cover what? Why the crap would you bring me here? Take a left at the next intersection.
Okay.
Why the crap would you bring me here?
We have to cover America.
Did you know this was a sundown town?
Yes.
And you're bringing me here?
This is Texas. They're not looking for you.
It's a sundown town! The crap would you bring me here for? Get me the crap out of here. Why would you bring me here? It says it was a sundown town, but in 2021, they don't change this rule. Is this for real?
Here?
At the gas station, a little further ahead.
Okay.
In 2021.
Yeah.
They stopped being like last year. They're like,
yeah,
we can't do this anymore. It's. Are you kidding me?
But do you really believe that just because they say we are no longer a sundown town, that they actually adhere to that?
I wish I would.
Slow down! You're gonna go fly. Oh my. Up ahead, there's a major intersection. You're gonna take a left.
Where the light thing is?
Yes, take a left. We'll go there downtown.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Is this a joke? This is Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Vidor had a reputation of being a sundown town in 2018, like not even that long ago.
Yeah.
Get me the crap out of here, Katie.
So if you've ever lived in the South or you've ever traveled through the South, you do understand that most of the South looks like this. Whether you go to Louisiana, whether you go to Mississippi, parts of parts of Alabama, they all look like that, like this area right here. Very desolate, very old school type towns, and very, very full of poverty.
I'm wearing Jordans right now. Get me the crap out of here. Go to this gas station. I want to see what it looks like. Get some good shots of this town. Get me the crap out of here.
What do you want me to do?
Like, drive around so they can see the gas station. Drive around so they can see it. You seen how I make my videos?
Mm-hmm. Like this?
Yeah. What's up with it's pretty run down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, that way no.
Yeah.
It seems pretty crappy. Like the other business center there was boarded up.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go on that road down there.
Yep.
I'll take us through there downtown. I got J's on right now. You better get me the crap up out of this town.
Oh, you'll be fine.
But you'll be fine. I'm not. I don't know where I fall along these lines. Get me out of here. Why would you bring me to a sundown town?
Yeah, it's about to go down too.
Okay, so in 2021, Vidor changed his rule because of the negative feedback from people. It wasn't even because they didn't agree with it, like, we don't agree with this anymore. No, it's not because they changed the rule because of the negative feedback. Like, well, we're being criticized for being a sundown town. We won't be able to keep this rule in place. Is this a joke? This is no way this is real. In 2021, they changed the rule because of the negative feedback. It's like, it's really the real problem here is the feedback we're getting for what we're doing. 1993, they ordered 36 counties to designate public housing by some available units for minorities. The K from another area held a march in the community for, and elaborate on what type of dress, the pressure. Wow. So they moved here and then they're like, yeah, look, during the summer, 2008 or surrounding areas.
It doesn't look like Vidor has a lot of downtown area. I mean, unless they're about to hit there. But it looks like they're on a loop or something around the outskirts of town.
Extensive damage from Hurricane Rita, Ike, and Harvey. Mandatory education was imposed. Oh my gosh. Well, their population has been declining since 2010 and 2020. It is very hard for a town to lose population. When your town's losing population.
Do I need to do something here?
Get me the crap out of here. Keep going straight.
Are you sure?
Yeah, keep going straight. I think they have a downtown. They're just getting you back on the highway.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's a very complicated layout. Ow! What the crap was that? Okay, so I think this stay on the frontage and then you'll take a right.
Okay. So I need to get over to the other lane.
Yeah, stay on the frontage. So laid out really weird. You know how Texas does these front streets?
Oh, yeah.
Problem is, since the highway goes right through the center of town.
Oh, okay.
Then the frontage is like really messed up.
Go to Chicken Express.
Anyway, you'll get to a main road called 105, which is Main Street, and we'll take that north and we'll take it south. So they changed the rule because of the feedback. That's really the problem. The real problem we're having here is the feedback. People are furious about this. It's like, I think there's more.
What?
The real problem here is the feedback.
The left here.
The next left you can take.
Okay.
Let me see some of the triparts and get out of here. I guess we can go to the projects, but this train's probably gonna take a while. So take a left here.
A left at this.
Yeah, take a left.
Camp Street. Honey, this is like a flea market. Okay.
Go in there.
Okay.
I got a map in front of me right now.
Okay.
Okay, there's a reason why there's a map in front of me, okay?
All right.
So you just listen to me and you'll be all right.
Okay.
Now, if you think you know the town already, you're starting to feel comfortable here and settle down.
Oh, no.
Take a left.
I want to get me to Houston. I like Houston.
Hey, Walot.
You feel comfortable, okay?
It's weird to me how people's perceptions of these towns. It's almost like they drive into town, they expect to see KKK walking down the streets with ropes and burning crosses. You know what I mean?
It does.
It's got the same depressing vibe. Take over right here.
Yeah. I will say Harrison, Arkansas has more life than this.
No, I don't think so. It's laid out exactly like Millbrook.
Why is there sandbags?
Because they got flooded or something. Yeah, they got really bad. They've gone through like hurricane after hurricane here.
Yeah.
You're gonna take a left at this.
At Canal Street.
Yeah, left here.
Okay.
This looks like every other.
Are you sure?
Every other freaking small town in East Texas that I've ever drove through.
Hey, boy, we don't like a cat around here.
All right.
Go a little right so they can pass you.
Go to the right.
Oh, they're going right.
Oh, they're going right. Yeah.
This is like Millbrook.
Dude, did you hear what he said? I mean, instantly, that is the stereotype right there. That is the bias stereotype that many people have when it comes to either Texas or these little towns where they perceive many people are just idiots.
This is like.
Gosh, it looks exactly like Millbrook.
Yeah.
Slow down, slow down. Slow down. This looks exactly like Millbrook. It's got that Millbrook vibe.
Go to trailer homes, guys.
There's a cat on the ditch right there.
What are they looking for?
All right. All right. 2 cats. Oh,
What
this
are
is
they
a
looking
cat
for?
town. All right.
You're looking for crosses?
Doesn't this look exactly
What are they
like
looking for?
Gosh. Get that Millbrook vibe. Okay, go to the right, and then it's a dead end, so just know that you gotta go to the right, go to the right.
Where the cats?
Yeah, go to the right.
Okay.
There's just like 5 trailers on a dead end street. There's cats everywhere.
Oh, gosh. I've never seen so many cats.
Okay, it's just like this. Then you're gonna back out.
Yeah, I've done home services for CPS. This looks like a trailer park that I visited. I've done home services for CPS in East Texas, and this is some of the type of areas that I would have to go into their home to give them counseling. I never thought anything about it. I mean, it looks like a trailer house, but these people are freaking out. No telling where they're from.
You're gonna back straight out.
I'm gonna back out.
Yeah, back straight out.
I mean, people live the best they can. I mean, not everybody is rich in America, no matter what people want to think.
Turn around up there. Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of cats.
That's mud. Make sure you don't get stuck.
Okay.
All right.
Wow, there is a lot of cats.
Why? Why are there so many cats here?
Cats.
I told you not to go in the mud. It's exactly what you did. Not that you go in the mud, you go in the mud backwards.
I can't handle this video any longer. It's kind of dumb. Let me see if I can find another better one.
Yo, what up, though, gang? It's your boy Prince Rob back again with another reaction.
That dog won't shut up. But they have a hanging tree, which I believe every town. Here, I was going to play this.
Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. It was a town known as a hub of hate, a radical respite of racism. Blacks were told to keep their asses out of Vidor, Texas, just east of Houston. Now it's a city that's hoping to change its image by doing the work. Some first hesitantly took notice of the work they were doing when whites in the city held a rally supporting George Floyd. And now leaders are opening the door to a young black boy with terminal cancer. Let's take you to Orange County. There was a time, especially in the Deep South, when blacks knew not to be caught in the city of Vidor, Texas, after the sun went down.
So the Vidor of the very long past, which, I'm sorry that it ever happened, is not the Vidor of today.
The Vidor of the past was known for being a racist hub in Texas, a place where little, if any, blacks called home. Even the federal government attempted to integrate the town in the 1990s, but the black families found themselves run out by some of the white residents.
We're not the same Vidor that people think we are. This Vidor is we're caring people. We love everybody. And I would say to the people that don't think that to be necessarily true, come visit our city. You'll see exactly who we are.
There are a lot of signs that Vidor is no longer that sundown town. Just last year, a group of white supremacists tried to set up shop in Vidor, and it was the white people of that city who ran them off. And then there's this.
I, DeVarge,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold
to uphold
the United States Constitution
the United States Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the state of Texas.
of the state of Texas.
On my honor,
On my honor,
I will never betray
I will never betray
my badge,
my badge,
my integrity,
my integrity,
my character,
or
the public trust
the public trust
that I serve.
that I serve.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You're a new officer.
There are olive branches and overtures like this where the leadership of VIDAR is sending a strong message. We are a different place from 40 years ago. We're a place where a young black boy, DJ Daniel, who is fighting cancer, can be sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer by all the law enforcement agencies in VIDAR.
For me is, growing up, they always used to have a dark cloud hanging over VIDAR. My folks is from East Texas. And nobody's given a chance to even come out and find out exactly what VIDAR's about.
Theodis Daniel decided to give the community that chance by seeking his son's 840th honorary police badge from the city. Daniel says what they found is a different world from the time when blacks refused to even stop in the city for gas.
It shows how much VIDAR has grown, regardless of what people have in their minds of how VIDAR used to be. But that was everywhere. But we all have to go through something to get somewhere, and nobody says the road was smooth. But we've come a lot further than where we were before. So it's progress.
Progress that brings a smile to the face of a young boy that's fighting for his life. DJ has brain and spine cancer with no cure, but he hasn't given up hope. His goal is to spread awareness about cancer while getting sworn in by as many law enforcement agencies as possible.
He's going to live his life. He's still going to continue to get his swear-ins across the nation. And we're not going to forget the small towns. We never forget the small towns. Small towns have the biggest hearts.
That's exactly what the people of VIDAR are trying to prove. The hate of the past for blacks is gone, replaced by a new generation with heart and compassion.
I've treated him just like another human being. And that's how I look at it. It's how my council looks at it. It's how my police department look at it. Come be a part of VIDAR. We have a lot to offer.
This is an opportunity. His dad calling and asking, about what we can do for him. I believe we're presented opportunities in life. It's our decision whether we're going to open the door and do them. And this is an opportunity to help another human being, especially a young man.
It's not the whole job, but it's a start. And that was shot by photographer Tori Walker.
So, I believe that, change is coming, sometimes slowly, sometimes quickly. Sometimes it's hard to overcome a reputation. It's hard to overcome a reputation of whether it be a town, whether it be a family, especially in a small town. If you've ever lived in a small town, and most small towns, they judge you based on your last name. If your last name is such and such, well, I knew your daddy, and whether your dad was an honorable man, your grandpa, whoever, then they kind of put you into that realm. Well, you must be this type of person, and you might not be. But there's a lot of old school beliefs still in America today, and 2025. We've come so far, but yet we still have a long way to go because, we have people cheering people's deaths, no matter how they die. Nobody deserves to die, to lose their life for any kind of excuse whatsoever. So this concludes my presentation for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, my name is 12 Gauge, and this is my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. I thought I'd hop on and spend some time with you guys and present a little bit of current and past history with you guys to try to understand what we need to do as individuals, because all we can do is change our own households. We can only change ourselves. We all have stereotypes, we all have biases, we all have beliefs, morals, and values. And oftentimes it's dictated on the principles of the past, the present, hoping to shape the future generations. Because a lot of us that live that are in this chat, we're not 20-somethings. We're not 30-somethings. We're older in life. We've experienced a lot. We've done some harm ourselves, I'm sure. But as I've spoken to many of the people that are in my chats, they're all looking to do something different, to leave a legacy that they could be proud of, not to continue to tarnish the memories of their families from the past, So once again, if you enjoy what I do, like, share, and subscribe. My name is 12 Gauge. Stay safe out there, and always watch your six. Maestro, cue that music.
Ready, set, go! Gauge Investigative, the best true crime channel out there.
I'm a true crime channel.
12 Gauge Investigators is the best.
12 Gauge Investigators, he's the best.
Prince George's County 911 Center. What is the location of the emergency?
Across 4709 40th Avenue.
You say
it's a fire, and it's catching fast.
4709?
Yeah, 4709.
Okay, what city is that, ma'am?
Hyattsville, sorry.
And what's your name?
Take on the darkness, stare down deceit. Murder in the headlines, justice in the beat. From cold case whispers to killers in disguise, we rip off the mask, expose all the lies. Facts like bullets we load and deliver. Truth cuts deep like a blade in a river. Corruption shakes when the mic goes live. We dig where others won't survive. Keeps rolling through the smoke. Truth hits hard, no time for a joke. Deceit, murder, we name every name. No restraint, no shame, just flesh.
12 Gauge Investigator is the best.
When you're in Foley, come get your hair cut where 12 gets his at Nick's Barbershop. 12 Gauge is the best. We love you.
12 Gauge Investigative is the best.